Hey everybody, and welcome back to chapters 7, 8, and 9, spoiler-filled, of Oathsworn, Into the Deepwood. So we're going to be continuing our discussion here today. My name is Zee Garcia, by the way.
And I'm Camilla.
And we are talking about chapters 7, 8, and 9. Yes, we're spoiling this, so if you have not caught up to this spot yet, don't watch it yet. Or if you don't care, I guess you can watch it. Ideally, you are maybe playing along. You're up to this point at least, and you want to hear some of our thoughts on what's transpired so far. We did, last time we put out a video, talk a little bit spoilery about Chapter 7 when we were actually talking about Chapter 6. That's our bad, but we're throwing it into today because it's actually in Chapter 7. And again, we'll do a little bit of each of these, and then we'll have a little discussion topic at the end, okay? So Chapter 7, the big thing in it, in my opinion, was that jailbreak.
Yes. Yeah,
that idea of, like, here's a puzzle in 3 pieces, kind of, and you have to play this mastermind, listen for clues. You compared it actually in the last video to the jailbreak board game, the thief, catching the thief.
Oh, Stop Thief.
Yes, Stop Thief.
It's very much so where, you hear footsteps and then they go upstairs and then you hear a door and you're having to sequence this together through the different puzzle cards.
And we did well. We did it really well, but it was super engaging.
Right.
It was really interesting. You spend a lot of time. If you want to, I think that's the fun part. You can kind of just brute force it and then you might get it wrong and whatever, or you might guess right.
Right.
But we loved taking our time and listening.
Yeah, it was good.
And like sequencing it all.
Right.
Wait. They're coming in this way because they don't tell you where they start either. That's the other thing. You have to figure out where they walked in first.
Right. They don't tell you where they start. They also don't tell you which map it's on.
Yeah.
Right. And so you have 3 different maps and we had only earned 2 of them. And so we're like, okay, I think he's on this one. This one makes sense, and we're not sure where that missing map was coming into play. So a couple different puzzles layered together. One that I was definitely glad that we had 3 minds on. I definitely think we all contributed something, and it was really fun. It was very unique.
Yeah, it's a really neat moment. One of my favorite moments in any chapter so far was this moment.
Yeah.
Very, very glad that, again, they feel like throwing some crazy curveballs in there just to break up some of it, because the game can be sort of story, fight, yeah. And the story's great and the fights are good, but you want to break that up, and this certainly did that. Mm-hmm. And then the fight was that Venerator.
Yeah.
Who is very tanky, very big. I love it when in this world, which is very fantastical, grim, dark in a way. I love it when they throw in something that feels just a little outside of its own setting. And this one had sort of overtones of religion in it, I think, and sort of, but also this he felt like a big Warhammer guy,
very much.
the kind of thing. So
very tanky.
Yeah, it was really cool, and he did that whole killing the peasants or whatever they were,
the
villagers, but then healing with that ability.
Right, they dropped those blood tokens, and so you talked about how the puzzle being really memorable. I think that this chapter, both settings were very, very memorable.
Yeah.
After this fight with the Venerator was definitely like a really big deep breath moment, like, whew. That got tough. That got real. I mean, we had to not just strategically take him down, but strategically figure out how to save the peasants and where to put them and manage the blood tokens so that he didn't just keep regenerating. It was really memorable and a difficult, very strategic fight.
Well, I know you're not a big fan generally of going against the big bad that heals.
I'm not.
What did you think?
I found myself frustrated a couple times, for sure. But that's when I think having all 3 of us together and strategically trying to work through it and plan our attacks together made it manageable. If all of the fights were like this, it would definitely take away from the game, I think, and affect my overall enjoyment of it. But as a one-off, kind of a big bad, and kind of seeing that come to a positive resolution for us, well, not for him, was good, and I enjoyed it in this limited scope within this world.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So it's not something I want to do often.
Yeah, and I think that you kind of hitting a nail on the head there when you say that this was a little frustrating, because I did find personally, you might agree with me here, that chapters 7, 8, and 9, and we're sort of arbitrarily grouping these. It doesn't matter, I thought that these three were generally more frustrating than 4, 5, 6. I thought 4, 5, and 6, which again, you should go back and watch that video if you haven't, were incredibly clever. They had set the game up in the first few, and then in 4 and 5 and 6, they really gave you some nice twists on the formula. I bet you weren't expecting this. One of my favorite fights is in there somewhere where you fight a band of marauders, kind of, instead of like one big bad.
The Scar Tribe.
And the game the Scar Tribe. The game has sort of ingrained in you that this is a boss battler, and you're expecting to fight one big bad, maybe some rats running around.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're in the middle of this fight, literally suddenly in the middle of a fight with just other people kind of like you. And I really liked that. Anyway, so this one was a little more frustrating, and I thought the Venerator was a little frustrating to go up against.
Yeah.
But the jailbreak part was fantastic.
Really, really good.
Then Chapter 8, to me, felt like a big dream sequence. It was this whole crazy, you're in this world where these children have been kidnapped, and they're tied to trees, and you're traveling around this big circle, encountering stories and deciphering how to get the kids back.
Yes. I think that this one did a really good job of presenting that dream kind of ethereal state that you were in. Because I remember a couple of points in this chapter where we were like, are we doing this right? What are we doing? What is going on? Did we grab the right game off the shelf? Like there was definitely some confusing moments, but not confusing to the point of breaking the game, but you were like, what is happening? And so it did a really good job of bringing that feeling that it's trying to present in the game to the table as well. We're following the rules, we know what's going on, but have no idea what we're doing, why we're doing it, what it's leading to, how we got here. You definitely felt this kind of almost hallucination state.
Yeah.
And
it has a weird side quest kind of feel, like you had a dream. And then you wake up and go back to your normal sort of everyday existence, but this freaky dream stays with you.
Right.
Yeah. It was really crazy.
And then
it shows the return also of the big satyr guy, who is like, now proper antagonist with a return performance and everything,
Yes.
It also had one moment in there where we were doing a real-time puzzle. Again, they keep throwing these crazy curveballs at you. This one I was not a big fan of, because you're looking at this sort of maze, and you have to find quickly the correct path. And it's just, we haven't really done anything like it, and it was such a, wait, okay, oh gosh, the stress immediately is up, and we got it wrong. It's just, Well,
and you're also coming out of this, dream-like state, and then all of a sudden you're thrown into this, like, real-time kind of element puzzle. It's like, whoa, hold on, wait, I'm still trying to get my bearings down. So again, setting the setting or the placement, I guess, it really lended well to that. But again, kind of like the Venerator, not something I would want to do often or all the time. I will say also the hallucinations, which come into play with the satyr this time, because it is a return from chapter 2 with the satyr, but he now has power behind him. And those hallucinations were pretty rough to deal with in the battle, as your random things happen. I guess we're going with spoilers here. All of a sudden you lose your weapon because you have a hallucination and you think it's a snake. And you drop your weapon and it ends up here, or you jump out of a tree all of a sudden because you think something. So just wacky things are happening to you. So very different from when you're fighting the Venerator and you're strategically planning out move by move. This one is definitely more tactical. Because you're like, all of a sudden I'm hallucinating. And I don't have a weapon because I threw it halfway across the battlefield, and so you're having to be more tactical.
I was glad that some of the writing for this section was humorous or came across. Certainly, I remember us laughing quite a bit at, like, you think you can fly. You're in a tree. Because we just came off of, like, rescuing children. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So it's like, okay, that's good. It breaks that tension a little bit.
For sure.
And the writing can still be funny and sort of subversive and silly while we're fighting this monstrosity who's got a person on a giant staff or whatever.
Draining his power. Yeah.
Right. And then chapter 9 was the one in which we are told it kind of brings us back to town, and we're tasked with sort of hunting down this cult that has something they've stolen or whatever. They have some power. We do that, and we fight this mollusk thing that has toxins and spreads toxins, and it's it's all this nasty like snail thing. I thought the story here was really good. I thought it was well done. I like a lot of they keep introducing characters in this game that are very well written, very well fleshed out, interesting, people that you are fascinated to read about, people that you are fascinated to see where they go. Who are these people? Where did they just come from? How did they get here? It's well done. That's a sign of good writing, is when you're captivated, even when you're only given a little bit, to know more about them.
Right. And this is also where we started to see such a shift in the story, I believe, where we talked to the Venerator, how it kind of had this maybe a little bit of religious background, something going on. Here we see the rise of the cult as well that we're investigating. And so we're definitely getting more of a world story and kind of world building in this one. It kind of feels like all these little pockets are starting to come together.
Yeah, there's a little bit of like a mythos kind of vibe developing here. And you're getting those spooky overtones. It's not just monstrous, but not supernatural. It's both.
Yes.
It has that sort of, there's evil, magic-y kind of stuff at play here.
Yeah.
Or artifacts, or imbued with magic, or whatever.
Right.
So, yeah, and then they give you a couple of interesting choices. There's one interesting choice near the end where you rescue this amber thing, if you do that, which we did, and then you take it back and the game asks of you if you want to give it to the Watchers or not give it to them because you don't think anybody should have that much power. And I love that because we haven't really been shown in the game that we should not trust the Watchers. But the game is doing something very clever, which is it's making us suspicious of everything.
Right, very much.
You know what I mean? Just by presenting the choice, you want to give it to them or not give it to them? Well, immediately you go, well, hold on, why shouldn't I give it to them?
Right.
I was not suspicious of these people at all.
But now that you're asking
until you asked. And I really like that because it makes you, it sets you up for being weary and distrustful of everything and everyone.
Right, and I don't really know that at this point we have committed either. I know we made our choice in this chapter, and we did give it to them, and we got a pretty. Are we going to talk about like what we got out of it? And
sure.
So we got a control rod for a golem,
right?
And so we have a
Which
golem.
Is pretty awesome. It was definitely
really
like a
cool.
stand-up moment for us. We're like, what?
So excited. He got his ally card, and he's really, really cool. So excited to move forward playing with him. But at the same time, it made you question, but what if we didn't? And that's the neat thing that I think this campaign is bringing is those choices where it's making you question everything, even yourself after you made the decision. Yeah. You're like, but what if I didn't? Just like real life, it leaves you with those moments of like, hope I made the right choice. We'll find out soon.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't come back and bite
right?
you. Yeah. All right, so there you go. We wanted to talk a little bit then. Our discussion topic is going to be the exploration part of this game. This game is very much a part A, part B. Mm-hmm. And that part A is exploration, storytelling, walking through a town, or exploring the deep wood, or exploring your mind in a dream, or whatever, versus the fight. Very cut and dry. Mm-hmm. Yes, it certainly changes from scenario to scenario, but it is the fight. And kind of how we feel about those two, which one do we prefer, how do we find them evolving up to chapter 9 where we are right now. We're a little past it, actually, but, what do we think? For me, I'll go first. I think there's a clear better and worse part. For me, the story, the writing, the interesting characters, and the curveballs they've managed to throw into that half of the game have superseded anything they've done in the other part of the game. which has also found highs and lows.
Yeah.
Like, I thought fighting the Scar Clan was a high. I thought fighting the Mollusk was a low.
The Mollusk was rough, yeah.
It was just messy rules. It was kind of difficult to... And that's the thing. Every time, not every time, many of the times when I hit part 2, the fight, gears start to grind when it comes to the rules for me.
That's the one that we always have to either get the rule book out, back out, or if we're going to BGG, it's not because of the story part, it's because of the battle. And so I think that lends to a lot of flexibility in that exploration, what we're calling the exploration, but really the first half of the game or session. There's a lot of flexibility on what they can do there in the choices you make, in the gear that you have, the people that you meet, the interactions you make. There's a lot of flexibility there without complicating the game. Whereas any flexibility that they're allowing themselves in the second part is leading to questions. You know, very, very meticulous, one-off kind of very specific situation, questions.
Sure.
If the mollusk is pushed into fire, but he has toxins, and the fire heals the toxin, does he heal his own toxin, or is it only our toxin? I mean, just so many different, weird, this one thing happened, what do we do?
Yeah.
And so I think that definitely, you say those great gears, you start seeing the gears of the game, definitely more so in that second half, in the fight part, or the combat. But that being said, I appreciate both sides because I really like that you're setting yourself up and that you feel like you have so much autonomy, I guess, in the first half, that you really are prepping for something, that you really are going through this hallucination and trying to figure out what is happening, which is going to lead to either an ambush or it's going to lead to being well prepared for the second fight, maybe getting a one-up on the enemy that's coming. And then at the end, you see those two come together so well in the epilogue. They always meld really, really well in the epilogue. And so I'm very appreciative of all three of those phases together that I would never want to do, what do they call it? The instant battle mode, which is where you can pretty much skip the story and go right to the battle.
I agree.
But
I also wouldn't want to skip the battle.
Exactly,
you need that.
You need it. And so, but on the heels of that, we are still having about 3 to 4 hours per play session at this point. And that's something that at the beginning when we were getting into it, thinking that this is going to be a 2-hour play session, probably an hour for each. One for the story and one for the battle. That's kind of what we were expecting once we kind of got the game going and really had the wheels turning and knew the rules well. We've not had that experience. It's still taking... It's at most 2 sessions in one day, or 2 sessions in a weekend. That's about kind of the threshold that we can allow ourselves. Right. And so I do wish it was a little bit faster, but I would absolutely not sacrifice any of the different phases for quicker table time.
I agree very much. Yeah, I would not mind some more clarity of purpose there, but I don't want to lose it because both halves really do make they're greater than the parts, what you end up with. So there you go, folks. That's it for us on this one. Let us know in the comments below how you feel about these two halves of the game. Do you enjoy that story, that exploration? Have you been enjoying reading it together? And then the fight. What do you think of that fight? Also, do you break them up? Do you do like the story, put the game away, come back and just do a fight? So you treat them like separate sessions that go back and forth? Are you trying to do them together at the same time? I'm curious. So there you go, everybody. That is chapters 7, 8, and 9 of Oathsworn Into the Deepwood. We'll be back at some point with the next few chapters, but for now, we're going to get out of here. Thank you very much. My name is Zee Garcia.
And I'm Camilla.
We'll see you out in the razor-sharp Deepwood. Watch out.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel. Thanks for watching this video. Check out our channel. We have a lot of videos on our channel. We have live videos that go up each week, from live Q&As to videos where we take a look at the newest stuff on Kickstarter, crowd surfing, to top 10 lists and more. There's lots of stuff on this channel. We encourage you to explore it. You can find out more at our website, dicetower.com. I'm Tom Vasel. Thanks for watching another video on the Dice Tower.